You were born in 18th century China, the Qing Dynasty to be exact. Your village has no name anyone outside remembers. A scattering of mud brick homes with leaking roofs, millet fields stretching thin under a weak sun, a few tired oxen, and graves that rise like crooked teeth in the hills. Here, famine comes often and God stays silent. When the rains are late, the river dries to a trickle, and the people whisper about hungry ghosts roaming the earth, taking what little breath is left. Your father is a farmer when the land allows it, when locusts and drought do not steal the harvest first. Your mother gathers herbs from the graveyard edges, plants that grow stronger where the soil has been fed with human dust. She sells what she can in the market, roots for coughs, bitter leaves for fevers, but silver is rare, and copper even rarer. There are too many mouths, too many little hands, and not enough bowls to fill. You don't remember the deal that sealed your fate. You were too young. 4, maybe 5. What you do remember is hunger. Hunger so sharp it gnawed at your bones, so deep it hollowed your belly until you dreamed of food instead of sleep. You remember your mother chewing rice and spitting it into your mouth like a bird feeding her chick. You remember the winter your baby sister froze in her sleep, her lips purple, her breath gone while the rest of you huddled under straw mats. And you remember your father's eyes on you, not cruel, not tender, just measuring, calculating, as though you were grain in a sack, weighed against survival. Before long, you were sold. A burden lifted from the family's shoulders, or so they told themselves. Your father said it was for your own good. He said you would live, while here you might die. Your mother said nothing. She looked at the dirt floor, as if it might split and swallow her before she had to see you go. The man who took you was smiling. Not kindly, but with the tight grin of someone who had made a profitable bargain. He counted the coins in his palm, pressed them into your father's hand, then lifted you like a bundle of firewood. You screamed for a while. Your mother did not turn her head. No one came to help. The road to Beijing was long, and you were not the only child in the cart. Others huddled beside you, dirty, hollow-eyed, silent. Some had been stolen, dragged screaming from alleys. Some had been sold like you, their parents whispering prayers behind them. At first, some cried, but the sound faded to silence. Crying wasted breath. Crying changed nothing. You did not yet know where you were going, but the red lanterns and barred windows would soon teach you. A house, not a home. A cage, not a shelter. A brothel. A place where boys became Tangmingu, the flower boys of Beijing. In the beginning, they treated you as if you were valuable. You were washed in hot water until your skin flushed red. Your hair was brushed until it shone. They fed you rice and broth until your belly softened. Inspectors ran their hands over you like merchants testing livestock at market. One boy coughed too much. He was led away and did not return. You learned not to ask questions. They gave you a new name, soft and pretty. Something with flower in it. Flower meant more than petals here. Flower meant beauty, fantasy, desire. You were 5, so you knew already how to sit still and say thank you. Now you would learn obedience, for soon you would learn what your body was for. Your training began the day Madame decided you were ready. She was the keeper of the house, the one who smiled sweetly at first, giving buns filled with red bean paste. But sweetness faded quickly. By the time you were 6, no one marked your birthday. You were not a child anymore. You were property. They started with the body. Each day, women massaged your hips, pressing until your bones ached, trying to coax your figure into something more desirable. They plucked your body hair with strings of twisted silk, dipped in oil, until your skin burned raw. You were taught to walk with loose hips, soft arms, your head tilted at a delicate angle. Mistakes earned slaps. Perfection earned sweets. You preferred the slaps. They were honest. Each week brought something new. Training rods, ivory, polished wood, carved stone, slid into your body until you learned to breathe through the pain. You learned to smile through tears, to bow when it was over, to thank the trainers for their cruelty. Your feet were bound tightly, cloth wrapped until bones cracked and toes curled beneath. Small feet were beautiful, they told you. Small feet would raise your price. By 8, you were performing private demonstrations behind curtains. You bent, twisted, posed, painted like a porcelain doll. If you forgot to smile, your thighs were beaten with thin switches. No bruises, never bruises. Bruises lowered your value. They fed you concoctions to soften your voice, diets to melt away the last traces of boyhood muscle. You were becoming a mask. Powdered cheeks, scented hair, perfumed skin. You were not a boy, not yet a man. You were fantasy made flesh. Clients came to watch. Men with jeweled fingers and calloused hands, men with eyes that burned with hunger. They whispered, they pointed, they chose. You prayed it would not be you. But eventually, it was. At 9, you were called to the private room. The man waiting was old, his smile too wide. He smelled of sour wine and sandalwood. He touched your face like he was testing fruit, then slapped you, not in anger but in ritual. You remembered the instructions: don't flinch, don't cry, make it sweet. When it was over, you curled into the bedding, shaking. The pain was sharper than anything the rods had ever prepared you for. The madam called it your promotion. You vomited the sweet bun she gave you. Years passed. You became a favorite, not because you were prettiest, but because you were disciplined. Because you no longer resisted. Because you no longer wept. Your silence was mistaken for grace. You were put on display, painted, perfumed, posed like art. Men paid extra to watch you prepare, to watch you slide gauze over your skin. You learned to fake laughter, to fake tears, to become exactly what they wanted. At 13, you earned more silver than anyone in the house. You never touched a coin. The madam told you it was being invested in your future. You knew she meant a nicer grave. Then came the final promotion, castration. Only the best earned it. Only those too valuable to lose. The ritual was precise. A bath in rose water, crushed pearls, oils thick as honey. A cup of syrupy wine that made your jaw stiff, your limbs weak, but left you awake enough to feel every slice. You were buried in hot sand for days, your body burning, your mind splitting. When you rose again, you were no longer boy, no longer whole, no longer yourself. You were velvet plum, the perfect product. For years, you were profitable. For years, men came and went, and you played the role they purchased. But time erodes all flowers, even velvet ones. By 17, your beauty began to fade. Your skin loosened. Your price dropped. Younger boys replaced you. Perfume was rationed. Silk was stripped away. Clients stopped asking for you. Then one night, the madam dismissed you. No anger, no pity. Just numbers on a ledger. You were given a robe, a coin, no shoes. You were sent out the back door, into a world you had never known. The streets were cold. You were colder. You had never cooked, never farmed, never begged. You tried. You sat by the gates, shivering, holding out your hands. Some threw coppers, some spit. One old client laughed when he saw you, tossed a coin into the mud, missed on purpose. You picked it up anyway. Hunger returned. The old companion. You drank melted ice, chewed bark, huddled in doorways. Your body began to rot from the inside. You coughed blood, shivered through nights. No one looked twice. You were no longer velvet plum. You were no one. They found your body days later under a staircase behind a bathhouse, half covered in snow. Gray skin, black fingers, eyes half open as if waiting for recognition. But no one came. You were lifted onto a cart with a drunk and a thief, buried in a trench behind the city walls. No marker, no prayer, not even a number. Back in the brothel, your name was whispered to the next boy. Velvet Plum, as if it were a role in a play, as if you had never existed at all. You were never counted in the census, never recorded in the temple scrolls. No family remained to light incense for your ghost. You left behind no children, no grave, no legacy. Only the faintest dent in the mattress where you once lay, and the memory of a body once bought and sold until it withered away. The story ended, as it always did, with silence.